This is number 3 in the series on the Lichee Pi 4a, and I have just installed the latest version of the software dated September 20th, 2023. I've been off working on other projects, got back to this one. This is October the 6th, 2023. So let's see just what's fixed and what is broken. First thing, you can see that I have not had the system up very long, 2 minutes. And I've installed the simple screen recorder. Now I like to do a clear so that you're not confused by or distracted by all the other text on the screen. By the way, I'm recording this in high definition, posting it on YouTube in high definition, and you should be using full screen display to get the full effect. Let's do a display file system, human format, and we see in the first line here where it says /dev/root, the eMMc, our solid state drive, is 115 gigabytes in size for root. The boot partition is 459 megabytes, and then it's 128 gig eMMc, but other parts of it are used for overhead, and someday I hope to get to a tutorial will cover just where all the space went. You paid for it, so you ought to get it, but there's no operating system that'll give you 100% just because of the overhead. So let's install all the updates. First thing you do is sudo apt update so that it can go out to the mirrors and get a list of all the packages and their dates and compare that with the list of what is installed, see what needs to be changed. One package can be upgraded. What? Oh, that's right. This is new. Let's see what can be upgraded. Sudo apt list upgradable. I don't have to do this as root. What? What? Why do I have to use the -a switch? Apt list upgradable. All right, something new. -a. I'll just. Where do you want me to put the flag? There's a 50-50 chance to do it right. Okay, oh, lib NSS3. Well, that looks innocent enough. So let's do a sudo apt upgrade -yes. Guess it gave it to me correctly the first time. Okay. And it installs it. So we're up to date. Nice. Okay. I know you get tired of me saying that, but I'm trying to quit. First thing I want to do, let's see if everything has been fixed that I reported damaged before. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Simple Screen Recorder, and I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to reboot the system. Let's see what happens. You won't get to see all this, but I'll report back as soon as I get the system back. So first thing to do is save this. I'll pause it and save it, and then reboot, and come back. I am back and everything seems to be fixed on the reboot problem that I had previously reported in number 1 and possibly 2, or only 2 only, or only 1 only. There's 3 options there. Or I didn't report it at all, but I'm pretty sure I did. So I've rebooted, so my uptime, I've got this keyboard and I'm going to swap it out. So we've been up 1 minute. If I do an LS, you see that I have 2 MKV. Whoops, I didn't want MKV, I want MP4. It's okay, I'll convert them. So the timestamp shows that this is part 2. And I'll put them together when I make the MP4 to go to YouTube. All right. One problem that occurred is previously, let's see if it's been fixed. If I start Chromium browser from here, it used to crash. And it comes up. It still has a problem that they're running it with a no sandbox command line flag, and that's a security problem. Let's see what happens if I go down here and start it from this menu. It's consistent. Let's look at the following. Let me do a sudo fdisk -l. I want to list all my disks, and I have at the bottom here, I have attached via USB a card reader, and I have a card in there, and that's at device SDB1. So let me make a directory here. Fuji, because that's my camera, and then I will do a sudo mount /dev /sdb1 /home /ciped /Fuji. All right, get a warning message here, but if I do a df -h, the very last line here shows that I do have the the flash card mounted at that directory. So let's let me clear cd fuji /star. I've got to go through 2 layers, DCIM and Olympus, and I do an LS, and I have these JPEGs. Let's see if JThumb, I don't know if it's installed. You want to check to see if a program's installed, do a which, and then the program name. It's not installed. So let's do an apt install JThumb. A lot of stuff there. This is going to take not too long. Take a simple program to display JPEG images, and it takes a lot of stuff associated with the utility. 60 megabytes. It's going to expand all this stuff, uncompress it. Spend some time doing that. There are very few of us using these systems now that can remember what it was like 60 years ago and just how slow computers were. So much compute power in just one little board. Thank you to all you designers and developers, and all the AI that helps get it done. Now, there's a possibility I do all this work and it doesn't function. But there are tens of thousands of applications, and there are a few more that will work or should work. Let me clear that. Now, if I do a which G thumb, shows me that it's in user bin. Do G thumb, and I want to see everything. Goes through there, critical, nope, segmentation fault. It is still broken. So let me install, apt install, GWEN view. It's probably going to do a bunch of stuff too. Oh, wow. It's a huge, huge library that it supports stuff that it needs. It probably doesn't need all that. Somebody just said, let me just make sure I get everything. I'm going to pause this so you don't have to watch paint dry, even though it's pretty fast. I'm going to let you watch paint dry. Faster, just 15 seconds to go. Look in the lower right-hand corner. Oh, 4 minutes. That's too long for you. Too long for me, so let's pause the recording. Okay, we've got it installed. Let me clear this and do a Gwin view star. And off we go to display my... Uh-oh, I've got a segmentation fault on it. It was working on the other version, now they broke this. Unable to find X11 visual, which matches EGL. Let's see here. I'll try something else. Install GWN view star to see if there's anything else that's associated with it. There's a debug. Let's try it. I don't know that it has anything to do with helping the other one to run. Probably not. Let's try it again. Well, let's just do Gwin view with no arguments. Nope, it's broke. I'm going to have to go off here. What I will do is I will bring up Chromium browser, look for other packages that will display, and find one that works. When we have so many options. Let me pause, go fix the problem, and come back. Okay, I successfully found a program that works. It's called Eye of GNOME, EOG. So you do a sudo apt install EOG, loads it. Then you type in, well, let me show you what I did. I did do an install, and then EOG star, says I want to display everything. And this is my first image. Here, you remember in the previous video I showed you that I had these little metal heat sinks. I installed 3 of them. 2 on the memory modules and then 1 on the SoC, the TM1520 RISC-V quad-core system. This is what it looks like. There is another, see how fast this is. Here's another view. I installed 2 nylon standoffs here to put a 40 millimeter fan above this to give it cooling. With the case and the fan provided, when I was running simple screen recorder and all 4 processors are running at 90% or so, the temperature of the core was running around 80 degrees Celsius, which is considerably high. So I wanted to try, this is another view, I wanted to try using a muffin fan or cooling fan of this type. These things are real cheap, less than $3 a piece American. Unfortunately here I put this thing on, I had a 50-50 chance I put it on upside down. So you just flip it over. Note, this is I think an 8 watt, let's see, 5 volts at 0.14, so that's 0.7 watts. So that adds to your load on your power supply. It's not very much. Note that this one has a smaller connector here for the 2.54 millimeter header. And that's all. If you just do a search for I forgot my keyword list, but I wanted Linux, image viewer software, whatever, and there are 11 of them. The first one is, what is it called? Nomax. It crashes. Eye of GNOME, and that's the second choice, and it came up and worked perfectly, and there are some others. Eye of Mate, to install it, you just do a sudo apt install EOM. There's a Cheeky, or whatever, however you pronounce it. Maybe we'll play with some of them later. There's always a bunch of software to work with. Now, what's wrong with my thing here? Nothing. Okay, it just takes time to see what the system's doing. All right, let's do a top. See what the system's doing. Oh, it's running a load average of 1110, and I've only got 4 processors. Let's see, I got the simple screen is using 313%. That's using up 3 processors. Let's go and quit that and use BTOP. Not installed. What I'll do is I'll come back and just show you a list of everything you need to install when you bring the system up, get it running. You won't have to mess with this. BTOP is going to be your favorite routine to display what the system's doing. And it shows that I've got all 4 processors here running at 1.8 gigahertz, and my system temperature is around 66 degrees, 67 degrees Celsius. Previously it was running at 80 with the old cooling system that you get with the enclosure. So what we need is someone to come out with a enclosure that uses a 40mm fan, or someone who's good at EasyCAD or whatever come out with a 3D printable enclosure. And I'll be one of your first customers to download it and print it off. And I hope you do a good job at creating it. Let's kill this off. So everything's looking good so far. What was the other thing that I was going to check? Was there anything else that was broken? We're still finding things that are broken, like G-Thumb and what was the other one? Gwen View. Excuse me. My cooling system's working great. So the system's working just, that's one more package to try. Just recently, Christopher Garnett, author of the Explaining Computers YouTube channel, came out with his 500th video. And in that video, he was using a Lichee Pi 4A, and he installed a video editor called KDE Live. So it looked pretty good. Let's try it. He got it to work on his Lichee Pi, so let's try it. He gave you 3 steps to install it. So we do a sudo apt update. So that goes back out to the mirrors and reads in what's what, and if there are any upgrades to be done with what you've got installed. Okay, everything's up to date. Second step is to load this library. Sudo apt install. This is libqt5gui5-gles. This is needed by KDE Live. There's nothing in Linux that's easy to pronounce, is there? Ooh, this loads 4.25 megabytes. Do you want to continue? So I just hit a return, which takes the default to yes. So we go back out to the mirrors. Fetches everything. Did that fairly quickly. Now we're going to install it. That doesn't take too much time, does it? Progress 30%. This is the reason I prefer apt over apt, or apt-get, because I get a progress line at the bottom of the window. Just a large number of libraries and modules to install. All right, let me clear that. And the last but not least is sudo apt install KDE Live. And I'm going to do an asterisk here called a splat, because it looks like a snowflake, and that's the sound the snowflake makes when it hits your windshield. So we're going to do an install KDE Live, and it's going to do 3 packages. KDE Live, data, and then I guess there's a debug with symbols thing, which I may have to do if this doesn't work. Be another rabbit hole, another killer of time. For those of us that don't want to wait around for software developers to fix things. Now this says it's going to take 21 minutes. I'm not going to waste 21 minutes of your time. Whoops, it went up to 40. It's going to vary. So let's put this in pause and I'll come back when it's done. Fortunately, that didn't take 40 minutes. Took 10 minutes to fetch, and then a minute or two to set up everything, unpack. So let's see how lucky we are. Let me clear this, and I'm going to do this from the command line. I'll just do KDEN live and hit return and cross our fingers. Pops up with the little display here. Could not detect. It does all this metadata. Plugins not available. Cannot get speech dictionaries. So far, I saw the page flap. It brings up, it looks like it's going to come up and run. They got it fixed. So Chris at Explaining Computers did not lie to us. Now my screen has a little shading thing here. You won't see it. It's visible only in the display and not in the memory. So I have a full-blown editor running on a Lichee 4a. My next step is to learn how to use it. And that will take some time, and I'm not going to take yours. So, this is good news. A couple of things didn't work, but a lot of stuff did. So we're getting a high percentage success rate. Was there anything else that I needed to show you on this trip? And I'm up to almost 22 minutes. I always like to keep things around 30 minutes or less, and I think this is a good place to stop. I'm trying to pack a lot of stuff in a short period of time. In order for me to get this on the web pretty quick, it's going to take a little hours to learn the other program. Let me show you something else. Let's look and see how much our disk space is used. We are up to 4.1 gigs on our 115 gig available, or starting with. So packages aren't that large yet. So I am going to install one that's going to take about 5 gigs, and that's a LaTeX typesetting thing because we need it to do slides. But that's another problem. Since I've got the recording of this session in 2 parts here, and I'm not going to process it on this system. I'm going to do it on my big system. So I need access to transfer these across. Okay. Make sure everything's working. I need to move this over to the other system. I don't want to put this on disk. I want to, and I don't want to FTP or anything. I'm just going to copy it over, and the way to do that is to mount that system. So I'm going to use a package called Network File System. This was written by Bill Joy, same person that did VI. I'll need to check on VI in just a second, but let's do the Network File System. In order to use it, I've already got it working on the other system, and it's exporting a file system, my home directory, to my local network. So in order to access it, I need NFS common. So do a sudo apt install NFS common. Every time we install just one little package, there's a whole list of stuff that gets thrown in with it. So we downloaded, unpacked it, set it up, start it up. And we're done. So let me do a make directory, JWST here, and if I do a df-8, you can see that I've got my two partitions for slash and slash boot and some temporary stuff. I'm going to mount my NFS file system from another system that's at IP address 192.168.1.116 because I set it up to do that statically, and my name over there is Adams. So here we're going to go SciPed/JWST, and it mounted it. If I display file system again, you'll see that the last line shows that I have from 192.168.1.116 the file system starting at /home. It's 915 gigabytes. That's my drive over there. And I'm using 610 gigabytes because I'm a hog, and I've mounted it locally. Now, if I try to go to it, I can't. Permission is denied because my ID here is 1001 and my ID over at the other system is 1000. But I can use 1000 here, but I recorded everything here instead of on Debian. So the way to get around this is I'll do a su Debian. Password is Debian. So now if I do an ID, I'm now Debian. So what I'll do is I'll copy MKV to JWST. If I CD this JWST and do an ls on star MKV, I am now effectively, I'm not logged in, but I've transferred to that file system and I've got the stuff over there. If I go and look at everything that I've got, that's why I'm eating up a lot of disk space over there, because I have a lot of stuff going on. So let me exit out of there. I'm back to my home directory here, and I'm ready to quit at 28 minutes. So this little demo, and I'll show you in another video how to go over and export. If I could just export this file system, go over to the other one, mount it over there, and copy it from there. But there's several ways to do it. I'll show you both ways eventually. Another is just to remote log in and do remote file transfer, but another video. Thank you for your time. Hope you learned something, and I'm glad to report that the people at SciPed are paying attention and are fixing problems as they occur. I will report the two problems with gthumb and GwenView, and hopefully they will get those fixed and do updates so I don't have to reload the system or reflash the memory. Again, thank you, and I'll be back with more later on.